How did I finally get my first payout? It's not so simple. After blowing through countless accounts, I somehow managed to put together multiple green days over the past 2 weeks and built a funded account to over $1,000 in profit. But surviving long enough to finally cash out turned out to be a whole different battle. First day of the week, let's hope I don't crash out cause even though pre-market seemed to be grinding higher, the candles were looking kinda weak and I had a feeling we'll chop around before moving in any direction. And after how badly I traded range markets last week, I just hope I don't get trapped today as price did start moving without a clear direction off open, so I just waited patiently for the market to break above the 15-minute ORB, which it did, but somehow plummeted right after that, so I figured maybe price is heading back into the range. So after the trendline break, I took a stab short but ended up bailing early because I was scared price would bounce off the opening lows, and sure enough it did, but that shit got slapped down immediately, so I just re-entered another shot. However, I kinda chickened out again mainly because the thought of blowing another funded account was creeping into me and I didn't want to spiral into another tilt session before getting my first payout. Had I held onto the trade, I would have been up hella, but I just tried to move on thinking at least I'm up for the day, right? Which was low-key the right call cause after price dipped another 200 points, it started bouncing on the demand area and I thought after such a strong sell-off, surely this thing had to retrace, right? So I jumped in long wanting price to test the 420s. At first, I started second guessing again after price kept rejecting off the EMA, but this time, I stopped fighting my own thoughts and let the trade play out, which eventually tapped me out for 300 bucks. With that, I called it for the day. Even though I kinda chickened out a little from the start, I'm glad I waited patiently most of the time, which luckily let me walk away out 500 bucks to start the week. With just one more day of making $150 to be eligible for a payout, can I finally meet my goal? Let's find out. Pre-market seems to be struggling to push higher from this area, so if price continues to stay below the EMAs, I would be leaning shorts, but that didn't last long as the market ripped straight up off open, so I tried a long and just when price was about to stop me out, it started rejecting again, so this should be an easy win, right? Nope, this thing immediately slapped back down and kind of freaked me out a little, so I bailed. However, I wasn't ready to give up on that idea and somehow re-enter after seeing another pop, but price started stalling again and I wasn't confident enough to sit through it, so I bailed once more. Following that, I took a stab long after a strong candle close on 5 minute, but seeing we were approaching news event at 10, I just tapped out earlier to secure 200 bucks. With price constantly making higher highs within the trend line, surely the bulls were in control, right? So I took another stab long wanting price to break the 400s, but I kind of placed my stop loss a little too close and got tapped out. Low-key, I should have just placed it below this candle cause I ended up re-entering at a higher price anyway, and even though I had to sit through some pullback, I just held on and luckily, the market eventually started moving. I even added another 5 contracts on the way up before price finally ripped up to my target for a fat 700 bucks profit. With that, I ended the day up around 360 bucks and met the requirement of making at least $150 for 5 trading days, which means I am finally eligible for my first payout. However, with the account sitting just under 2k profit, part of me wants to build a little more buffer first. So I probably won't take that payout just yet, but what do you guys think? Would you have secured the payout or build a safer buffer first? Let me know down in the comments below. New month, new me, and since I've decided to hold off on taking a payout to build a bigger buffer, let's just hope I don't crash out before that. Today's market seems to be grinding lower lows, so as long as price stays below the EMAs, I'll be leaning shorts. So with the idea of a bearish day, I kinda took a stab shot after seeing a fat red candle close on the 5 minute, but the problem is that we're at the fair value gap from yesterday's candle and price usually get funky around these areas. So I just tapped out earlier to secure 250 bucks. Good thing I bailed cause price did bounce back out shortly after. And seeing how price started forming higher highs, you would expect me to look for longs, right? Nope. I just couldn't shake the feeling that the price was kinda sus after being bearish overnight, and to top it off, the 15-minute was still trading under the EMAs. So I just held back my urge to FOMO in, but maybe I should have just nicked in some longs cause after price ripped back into the 15-minute ORB, I jumped into a short and just when I thought I was about to secure my target and call it a day, price was like nope and started rejecting to tap me out at break even. However, I probably should have just left my stop loss alone zone cause I ended up chasing the short after another rejection. This time though, my luck ran out as price immediately bounced and tagged me out for 290 bucks. Seeing that, I was like, no way I waited the whole day for shorts just to get cooked, right? So instead of flipping long after the bounce, I jumped back into a short. And I swear, after price started rejecting, there were a million times where I wanted to move my stop to break even, which would have stopped me out, but somehow I fought the urge and just held on. Luckily, price did rip down after that to secure a fat 480 bucks to end the new month up just under $430 after commissions. For today, price was starting to form higher highs, but it also had a pretty strong rejection of this area, so if the market started ripping lower, I'll be looking for shorts instead. However, that didn't last long as price started grinding up after a quick dip off open, and after seeing multiple green candles forming in the 5 minutes, I jumped in long. But I swear this trade is rigged cause after stopping me out, price immediately bounced back up, so I was like, no way I'm sitting this one out, and re-entered. However, price was kinda trading near the 5-minute fair value gap already, so I only took a quick 130 bucks profit. I was low-key salty though as price kept pushing higher, and had I kept my original target, I would have actually ended up green on that trade instead. So I may have tried another long, which actually worked out at first, but after moving my stop to break even, price somehow detected it and stopped me out before ripping straight to my original target anyway. Even though I tried chasing it, I eventually talked myself out of it, figuring there'll be more opportunities if I stayed patient. And low-key, that turned out to be the right call cause shortly after, price started dipping below the EMAs and seeing a fat red candle close on the 5 minutes, I was like, surely bears are in control now, right? So I took a step short and this trade did play out just fine for a decent profit to bring my account back into the green. Seeing price continue the strong downtrend, I took another step short after a red candle close on a 5 minute again, and price pretty much hit my target easily for another 200 bucks. Since Friday's a holiday, I didn't want to overstay and risk giving back today's profit, so I just packed up the charts and ending the day up around 350 bucks. With that, I kind of felt like my account had built a decent buffer, so I finally went ahead and requested my first payout of 1000 bucks, leaving around 1600 in the account to keep it alive. Even though it wasn't a max payout, I felt like I really needed this, not just to keep the account alive, but to keep my sanity in check and the bills paid. But the job's far from finished as we still have 4 more withdrawals before getting moved to a live account. And for those of you who are new to Lucid, they actually let you copy trade up to 5 funded accounts, and maybe that's my next goal, working my way up to all 5. But for now, I'm just gonna focus on staying consistent with one account because knowing myself, even finally getting my first payout, there's always a chance I spiral into another tilt session. So if you want to see whether I actually survive long enough to scale this thing, you might want to subscribe and stick around.